Malcolm in the Middle almost prevented Breaking Bad from existing. 2 casting decisions in 1999, one accepted, one rejected, and the most celebrated drama in TV history nearly never happens. Almost nobody knows this. To understand how, you need to know 2 stories. This is the first one.
You remember a guy named Vince Gilligan? I said, no. And I said, well, he wrote and produced the X-Files that you did. I go, oh yeah, I do kind of vaguely remember him. And I said, well, he wants to see you for this new project that he wrote called Breaking Bad.
Vince Gilligan had first worked with Cranston in 1998, a year before Malcolm even aired. Gilligan wrote an episode of The X-Files called Drive, in which Cranston played a paranoid, conspiracy-obsessed man who kidnaps FBI agent Fox Mulder. It was dark, intense, and completely unlike anything Cranston had done before.
Director brings in Bryan Cranston, who I'd never heard of. This was about a year and a half before Malcolm in the Middle went on the air. It was before Malcolm in the Middle. And Bryan comes in and he just nails it. He's like, as soon as he's done, as soon as he walks out, we're shaking his hand, and I looked at the other guys and said, OTW, which off to wardrobe. It's what you say when you essentially, like, that was the guy, let's stop looking now.
Gilligan was stunned. When he later saw Cranston as Hal on Malcolm in the Middle, he said, I didn't know he could be funny. Now he had the full picture, an actor who could do both.
We read some really good actors for Breaking Bad, but I always had in my mind from the outset, I had Bryan Cranston in mind, because I thought back to that episode of X-Files, and I realized since that episode how funny he could be, how tremendously humorous a person he was.
The studios wanted a movie star. AMC pushed for bigger names, and when those fell through, Gilligan showed them the X-Files episode.
When I sent along the DVD of that episode of the X-Files, she came around, and as did anyone else who might have had questions.
AMC executives looked at Bryan Cranston and saw one thing: the goofy dad from Malcolm in the Middle, a sitcom actor, not a meth kingpin.
It is perverse. It's ironic, and it's more than ironic. It's perverse to have this lovable, goofy dad suddenly be this whole different character.
Gilligan had to fight for him. And there's one more thing.
Had Malcolm in the Middle been picked up for an 8th season, someone else would have played Walter White, because I would not have been available.
One more season, that's all it would have taken. But that's only half the story. Sometime in 1999, Aaron Paul got his hands on the Malcolm in the Middle pilot script. He read it and immediately knew which part he wanted.
Dad, I know what you're gonna say, and believe me, I totally agree with you. There is no excuse for what I did. It was idiotic.
Francis, the one so out of control his parents, shipped him off to military school before the show even starts. Paul wanted that role desperately. The producers wouldn't let him audition. Not he auditioned and didn't get it. They kept passing on him. He never made it into the room. The part went to Christopher Masterson. It would have been something to see, but Paul never got the chance and disappeared back into the pool of young actors in Los Angeles who almost got something.
You know, when I got Breaking Bad, I was at really the lowest point in my career.
In a Reddit AMA in 2013, someone asked Paul what he thought would have happened if he'd been cast as Francis. His answer was immediate. I definitely wouldn't have gotten the role of Jesse Pinkman on Breaking Bad, that's for sure. Jesse Pinkman, one of the most iconic characters in the history of American television, exists because a casting director in 1999 said no. If Paul gets Francis, he spends 7 years on Malcolm in the Middle. By the time the show ends, he's a sitcom guy, creatively associated with the wrong register. And even if Gilligan had looked past that, he was already fighting just to cast one Malcolm actor as his lead.
It is fascinating.
The network had nearly blocked Cranston. Putting 2 Malcolm actors in the 2 lead roles of the same drama would have been a fight nobody was going to win. Jesse Pinkman was already supposed to die in season 1.
Who were you going to kill off?
I was going to kill off this gentleman right here.
Thank God for the right strike.
Gilligan's original plan was to kill him off early and let Walter carry the show alone.
The original plan was to kill him off, but I have to say the writer's strike, in a sense, didn't save you, because I knew by episode 2, we all did, all of us, our wonderful directors and our wonderful producers, everybody knew just how good you are and a pleasure to work with. And It became pretty clear early on that that would be a huge, colossal mistake to kill off Jesse.
Jesse stayed. And Jesse staying is the reason Breaking Bad becomes what it becomes. Not a one-man portrait of corruption, but a two-man tragedy about what happens when a man destroys everyone who ever believed in him. And Paul exists in that role because Malcolm in the Middle turned him away. When Linwood Boomer wrote the pilot for Malcolm in the Middle, Hal Wilkerson had 5 lines.
And it was really difficult because of the lack of the amount of lines that were in this first episode. Yeah. And you're doing a pilot episode, it's just one.
Brian wasn't cast until we'd already started filming. I think we were like 2 or 3 days into filming because there's a lot of scenes with just the kids. And I remember we were filming like a kitchen scene and they were like bringing in dads, actors, like to like basically doing like the network audition there because we had already started.
Cranston did something nobody expected. He listened, but with an entire universe going on behind his eyes.
Who to sock it to? Who to sock it to?
Linwood Boomer fell off his chair. He said later, "I didn't write the role correctly. Brian's take was so much better. I originally envisioned this incredibly remote, almost ghostly presence. Brian's take was someone who was always building a rocket ship in his head. Instead of being this actively disengaged person, he was just busy thinking of other things.
They're sending an unmanned probe to Venus and letting a bunch of school children name it.
It was completely different and so much funnier."
The distinction here for Hal, playing off of this bombastic, aggressive woman, Lois, don't compete with her. Do not try to match her. So I started to think what would be a complementary characteristic for Hal would be perhaps the opposite of her. What is she lacking? Oh, she's lacking subtlety, softness, sweetness, quiet. So I went, oh, she's fearless. So I'm fearful.
Cranston was hired on the spot, and for 7 seasons, he turned a character with 5 lines into the emotional core of the whole show. One actor walked into a half-built set and gave a performance so strange and so alive that it transformed a throwaway character into a TV legend, and very nearly got him blacklisted from the most important dramatic role of the decade. Another actor got rejected so completely, he wasn't even allowed to try, and because of that rejection, he was exactly where he needed to be 8 years later. When Jesse Pinkman needed someone to make him worth saving, Cranston got in, Paul got out. Both outcomes lead to the same place. Malcolm in the Middle didn't know it was building Breaking Bad. It was just a chaotic family sitcom about a genius kid who couldn't catch a break. But underneath all of that, underneath the roller skates and the garage projects and the military school, it was quietly assembling the 2 people who would make the most celebrated drama in television history possible. And if you want to stay in the Malcolm universe, check this one out. Every girl Malcolm ruined things with.